Hello. So, in today's America, the average minimum wage is $11.35 per hour. So in the average 8-hour day, after taxes, you'll be earning about $80 a day. So imagine doing that same amount of work, same time period, but only earning $2.20. Sounds good, right? No. You're actually doing the same amount of work in a cramped, damp factory with temperatures that can hit over 100 degrees. Oh, and also there's one exit, and the fire escape's broken, so you and your 8,000 coworkers will have to use the one staircase in the event of an emergency, such as fire, maybe an earthquake. So these are just some of the common conditions of the world's textile manufacturing factories, specifically in the second leading manufacturer country, Bangladesh. So today in the speech I'm going to describe for you the ethical problems with today's textile manufacturing industry, as well as the massive environmental impacts that the industry causes. Then I'm going to give you some strategies that you can reduce your textile consumption because the effects are being felt as we speak on people around the world. And a change in our mindset, how we think about clothing, can have a massive impact no matter what. So what is fast fashion, the largest contributor to textile pollution in the world? Fast fashion are stores that produce large amounts of products for markets with rapidly shifting tastes. So this is exemplified best by H&M and Forever 21, most of the stores that you'll find in your local malls. So they must produce products cheaply and efficiently, and so poor conditions overseas are employed, as well as materials that never break down, cheap materials. So some of the ethical problems, these slave labor conditions that we've seen, such as this picture here, we can see many people working in a small space, very cramped, crowded, and just general not very good working conditions. So in Bangladesh, the minimum wage for a textile manufacturing worker is $68 a month. And in China, the world's leading producer, which accounts for 30% of the world's apparel exports, according to the UN Commodity Trade Statistics database, their minimum wage is $280 a month. Still not very high. So this is actually can be attributed mainly to Americans, as Americans are the leading market for Chinese manufacturers, with 1 billion Chinese garments purchased each year, according to Pietro Rivioli's book, The Travels of a T-shirt in the Global Economy. So many Chinese workers make from 12 to 18 cents per day, according to the U.S. National Labor Committee, as the minimum wage laws are fairly lenient, not enforced very strictly. Here we can see a Chinese labor worker who was forced to distress denim all night, and the blue dust you can see is an irritant to his lungs, so he has to wear a mask, but still just terrible conditions that he's forced to work in. Also, in 2013, we saw the most devastating disaster in the history of the textile manufacturing industry, the collapse of the Rana Plaza in Bangladesh, which was a compound containing several clothing factories, and the collapse, which was caused by poor construction and not very good oversight, caused the death of 1,135 workers and observers. So this just shows that standards must be improved to prevent further tragedy. In terms of the environmental issues, the garments, not only is the problem the garments themselves, but also the manufacturing of them. So the textile industry has the second largest carbon footprint of any market, behind only petroleum. In their article, The Waste Culture, the Environmental Impact of the Clothing Industry, Luz Claudio states how each step of the clothing production process carries the potential for an environmental impact. For example, conventionally grown cotton, which is one of the most popular fibers in production, is one of the most water-dependent and pesticide-dependent crops. So it's not a very efficient process. So not only does the process consume, but it also pollutes. So 5% of landfills in the world are filled by textile waste, and 20% of freshwater pollution can be attributed to textile treatment and dyeing. So you can see that it just has a massive effect worldwide. Now that we know the effects of the problem, what can we do to help? So anything that reduces your clothing consumption is going to aid in this problem, such as not shopping at fast fashion outlets, such as the ones previously stated, most that are in the malls today, as well as recycling or repairing clothing that you do already have, just to increase the lifespan and detract from the amount that you're actually consuming. And then also buying new clothing secondhand, such as from secondhand sources or thrift stores. So by boycotting fast fashion outlets like H&M or Old Navy, your carbon footprint is massively reduced just by such a simple act. So the alternative, thrift stores or secondhand sources, can have very stylish clothing that is often overlooked, such as what I'm wearing today cost me about $1.70, with the most expensive being $1 for a belt. So not only is it aiding to the cause, but it's also cost effective. So according to a survey conducted by America's Research Group, a consumer trends research firm, about 12 to 15% of Americans shop at consignment or resale stores. And the Council for Textile Recycling estimates that 12 to 15% reduced the amount of textile waste by 2.5 billion pounds. And textile waste is defined as anything that's made of fabric. So you can see that your changes can have a huge impact on the world around you. So though it's tough to imagine that a change can be made, we can visualize a world where our demands don't ruin the lives of the workers creating our products. A world where clothing lasts a lifetime and we don't have to go buy new clothes for shifting trends because we're drawn to the masses. So all it takes is an individual change to spark a continuing notion of conservation. So what I've spoken to you about in this speech is the wide-reaching effects of the textile manufacturing industry, specifically the environmental impact that it produces, as well as the ethical issues that are involved. And when we're faced with the slave labor employed to create the cheap clothing of fast fashion, the massive consumption or pollution involved in the process, is our responsibility to make a change in our consumption habits. So all I ask of you is to do your best to avoid discarding clothing and to buy new clothes sparingly. Take a second to think, do I really need this? Because the impact will be a lot more than you think. Thank you.